I just hit 18 months on the carnivore diet at the end of June 2024, so in today's video we are going to go over my blood work for that period of time. I did a couple of new tests, including the OmegaCheck and a full thyroid panel, along with some standards that I always do, like blood sugar numbers and cholesterol. I'm Jenny. I've been doing a carnivore diet experiment since December 2022, and I've been tracking my progress through weight, measurements, DEXA scans, continuous glucose monitoring, blood work, and arterial scans, and sharing all of that data with you here on YouTube in the hopes that my N of 1 experiment will help to dispel some of the myths and misconceptions around the carnivore diet that are floating around here on the internet. But before we get into my blood work, did you know that 81% of the people that are watching this channel are not subscribed? Crazy, I know. If you enjoy my content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Doing so is a free and easy way to spread the word about the healing power of carnivore, so I thank you again for your continued support. I'd also like to mention that I've started a second channel called Jenny Middich, etc. This channel features vlog-style behind-the-scenes content, so if you're interested in that, I will be sure to link that channel in the description and at the end of this video. Let's talk about where I order my blood work real quick. I order everything online from ownyourlabs.com. I'm testing my blood probably once a month, and I was having a hard time getting my doctor to order some of the tests that I wanted her to run, so I decided to just order this for myself. In most states in the United States, you can do that. I'm going to put a link in the description to ownyourlabs.com. I'll also put the pricing to each lab that I talk about in this video so you can get an idea of that. And I have a coupon code that will give you 10% off your order. This is not an affiliate link. I do not get anything from this coupon code. I just really believe in Own Your Labs, and I love that this is a service that's available to me. Here's the process. You go onto ownyourlabs.com and you go to their product catalog. You add what tests you'd like to get done to your cart, and that's it. You just check out, you pay for everything online, and within about 1 business day, you're going to get an email from them, and that's going to have your blood work order in it. You're going to print out that blood work order, and then you're going to go to your closest Labcorp location. You can do a walk-in, but I personally like to make an appointment so that I'm seen promptly. You get your blood drawn. There is no additional cost at the Labcorp location. That is baked into the price on ownyourlabs.com. And typically within 2 to 4 days, you're able to read your results within the Labcorp online portal. It really couldn't be any simpler. Let's start with my iron and TIBC levels. I've tested this 2 other times over the past few months because I had some fatigue issues that I suspected might be related to vitamin C and iron. So I supplemented with iron for a few weeks, but it turns out that I did not need to do that. I think it might have actually been a magnesium deficiency due to extremely high levels of vitamin D supplementation. So taking a look at these numbers, you will see that my iron levels are completely back to normal. I only supplemented for about 3 weeks, so I don't think I ever had excess iron. The only marker that was a little bit low was my TIBC, or my total iron binding capacity, which just means that all of my transferrin was linked up with a molecule of iron. So if I continued down that path, I may have eventually had an iron overload, but I was okay, and now everything is back to normal. Next up, I test B12 and folate quarterly, so let's take a look at those. My B12 is at 645, and my folate is at a 9.7. This is not surprising, as I eat a ton of red meat, which is an excellent source of both of these nutrients. I would like to see my B12 a bit higher, but I do have a genetic mutation that affects methylation, so I've been contemplating adding a B complex supplement to my regimen, but I have not quite, hammered that out yet. So I will let you know if I do end up adding that. I wanted to take a moment to thank LMNT Electrolytes for sponsoring today's video. LMNT is an electrolyte brand that has everything you need and nothing you don't, with 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. I'm typically using the raw, unflavored LMNT on the carnivore diet. This doesn't have any flavorings, no sweeteners, no nothing. It's just the minerals. And I'm doing 1 packet in 16 to 24 ounces of water first thing in the morning, especially in the summertime because it's super, super hot out. They also just released a sparkling water. This is their black cherry lime. I love this flavor. I also love their watermelon. So this just has the electrolytes mixed into it already. You pop it open and you drink it. In the summer in the Chicagoland area, it's been super, super hot this year. So I'll do like 1 can of this, and then I'll do 1 to 2 packets of the raw unflavored LMNT every single day. Right now, LMNT is offering my viewers a free sample pack with any order. So head to the link in the description. It's drinklmnt.com/Jenny Middich. That's DRINKLMNT.com/Jenny Middich and get your free sample pack with any order today. And that's for the drink packets. That's if you do some of the sparkling water. Whatever you order, you can get that free sample pack with that link. Moving on to blood sugar numbers, my A1C is holding steady at 5.3. This coincides with my continuous glucose monitor data. I use the NutriSense app. Let's just go over those real quick because they're quick and easy. My average glucose is 85. My time in range was 99% of the time. That just means that 99% of the time my glucose is between 60 and 140. My variability is a 12. You want that to be under 15. That just means that your spikes and dips are very tight. You don't want those to be all over the place. You want that to be kind of a tighter range, so under 15 is the goal. My max glucose during the last 3 months was 177, and no, that was not from a carnivore meal. That was from a high carb cheat meal that I had in April. My sleep average is 84, and my morning average is 91. Next up, I had my fasting insulin tested. It came back at a 6.7. It's a little higher than normal. I typically see my range between like 2.5 and 4, but I am aiming for 2 to 6, so 6.7, not really a big deal. I tested my GGT, which is a liver function number. You want that number to be as low as possible. Mine was an 8, so that is awesome. My liver is functioning as it should. I also tested my cortisol this time around, and at 9.7, it is well within range for a morning cortisol. Let's move into my thyroid numbers. My TSH was 0.982. My reverse T3 was 18.8. My free T3 was 2.3. My T4 free was 1.51, my TPO was 14, and my thyroid antibodies were under 1. This is the very first time I've had a full thyroid panel done. This cost about $176 on ownyourlabs.com with my 10% discount. And be sure to hit that subscribe button if you are not already, because I literally just got done filming a video with a thyroid expert that went over my numbers with me. I discovered some pretty interesting things about my thyroid numbers, so you're really going to want to watch that video. Before we get into cholesterol, I wanted to share the results of a brand new test that I got done this time around called the OmegaCheck. I don't eat a ton of fish, so I wanted to get a baseline level of my DHA, my EPA, and things like that, so I can see if I perhaps need to increase my fish consumption. This test cost $66, and unfortunately, it took a really long time to come back from Labcorp. I got this blood work done on July 3rd, and I didn't get the results back until the end of July. That's really uncharacteristic of Labcorp. Typically, I'm getting results back in like 2 to 4 days, but later when I looked at this particular test, the OmegaCheck, it said that it had a 26-day processing period. So my advice is, if you want to get this test done, do this on a separate day. Just get this test drawn, and then it can take as long as it needs. And then go on another day and get all of your other tests done so that you're not waiting forever for the entire, result package. I'm going to pop these OmegaCheck numbers up on the screen. The OmegaCheck was a 3.3. That is considered low. My arachidonic acid to EPA ratio was 57.3, which is considered high. My omega-6 to omega-3 ratio was a 13.3. My omega-3 total was a 3.3. My EPA 0.3, DPA 0.9, DHA 2.2, omega-6 44.3, arachidonic acid 15.5, and linoleic acid 26. It's very clear that I should be consuming some more fish. I'm typically eating fish like once a month. Those levels are really, really low. If you were to take this panel out of context, just like on its own, you would think, oh my God, you're gonna have a heart attack tomorrow, because that's kind of what it says here. I'm at very high risk of a cardiovascular event if all of these numbers are the way they are right now. But if you look within the context of all of my other markers, in general, my health is very good. So I'm not super worried about that. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate 1 can of sardines every day this month, and then I'm going to retest this and see if that will get my levels a bit better. So as soon as I do that experiment, I get this test redone, I will release that video and we'll have the answer. Let's move into cholesterol. I did a couple of tests this time around. The first one is a standard lipid panel. My total cholesterol was 277. My triglycerides were 43. My HDL cholesterol, 80. My LDL cholesterol, 191. These are all within my normal range. Your cholesterol numbers are constantly changing day in and day out. So the ranges that I've seen in the 18 months that I've been on the carnivore diet are total cholesterol, 179 to 345. My triglycerides have been between 43 and 70. My HDL has been between 65 and 97. And my LDL cholesterol has been between 170 and 250. I've also had a few viewer requests to measure my ApoB. So I measured ApoB and ApoA. My ApoA was 208. My ApoB, 123. And the ApoB to ApoA ratio, 0.59. There's a lot of hoopla out there going around about ApoB, how it's a really good single marker to measure your cardiovascular risk. And maybe, perhaps, there are some, data points that show that, but no marker exists in a vacuum. You have to look at each marker within the context of the whole picture. It's understandable that since I have more LDL particles floating around in my bloodstream, that I'm going to have higher levels of ApoB because LDL particles, LDLP is an ApoB containing particle. These are normal ranges for somebody that's following an ultra low carb diet, and lots of people that eat carnivore can see their numbers end up like this. With such low triglycerides and high HDL, my triglyceride to HDL ratio is a 0.53. That's excellent. You want that to be under a 2. So with those numbers, I'm not super concerned about it. I've also done some NMR lipoprotein profiles that show that all of my LDL particles are large and buoyant. I have an A pattern. LDL cholesterol on its own is not causal in heart disease. So since all of my other biomarkers are in range, my arterial scans are clear, my CAC score is 0, my visceral fat is super low, feeling good. I'm not super concerned about that particular marker. Plus, there's lots of exciting research being conducted by Dave Feldman, Nick Norwitz, and Matthew Budoff. They're working to figure out if high levels of LDL cholesterol within the context of a ketogenic diet, while all of your other biomarkers are excellent, if that is causing any kind of plaque accumulation in your arteries. And so far, with the preliminary data, there is no evidence that that is the case. The plaque burden of the ketogenic subjects with excellent health are no different than other subjects that with lower LDL cholesterol numbers also in excellent health. So that's why I measure all of these markers along with the continuous glucose monitor data, the arterial scans, the DEXA scans, because I like to have a full picture of my metabolic health. You also have to go off how you feel. Are you feeling good? Do you have energy? Are you able to do everything you want to do? That is also a huge indicator of your metabolic health. If you'd like to get any of these tests done for yourself, head over to ownyourlabs.com and use the code JennyMittich to get 10% off your order. And again, that is not an affiliate code. I don't get any kickbacks for that. I just really appreciate that I can order blood work whenever I want. And I think that everybody should be getting their blood tested at least once a year. Right here on the screen, I'm going to put a link to my interview with a thyroid expert. She is going to go over my entire thyroid panel. If this video is not here right now, that means it's going to be coming out in about a week. So be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it. I'm also going to put a link to my 6-month blood work video right here. In this video, the first 15 minutes is a really in-depth discussion of LDL cholesterol and its function in your body. I'm also going to put a link to my second channel, Jenny Mittich, etc. You can click on that, get subscribed, and be sure to sign up for notifications so you won't miss a single video over there. With that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.